Hello everyone, I'm Joseph Hilly and this is my children's book reading. It's Curious George Visits the Zoo, and it's by Margaret and H.A. Reyes. Curious George Visits the Zoo. "George," said the man, "how would you like to see a real elephant? Let's go to the zoo." There was a lot to see at the zoo. There were giraffes with their necks so long they seemed to reach the sky. There were kangaroos with their babies in a special pocket. And finally, there were elephants with their floppy ears and their long trunks, munching on hay. And hey, it was lunchtime. People were eating at the park benches, and people were picnicking on the grass. "I'm going to go find out what time they feed the lions," the man with the yellow hat said, "so don't get into any trouble." While George was waiting, he saw a zookeeper with a pail of bananas for the monkeys. As the keeper put the pail down to get a drink of water from the fountain, George was hungry, so he grabbed that pail and he ran away with it. "Hey," shouted the keeper, "stop that monkey!" But George kept on running. A crowd of people was standing near the monkey house, just the place for George to hide. But standing by the cage was a little boy holding a red balloon with a long string. And then suddenly, one of the monkeys reached out and snatched the string away from the boy's hand. Then he ran to the top of the cage. Then he tried to squeeze the balloon through the bars, and the other monkeys started to shriek and scream. The little boy was crying. "Please, couldn't somebody get his balloon back?" asked the mother, but none of the people could reach that high. But George didn't know what to do. With his pail in hand, he climbed to the top of the cage. He took a few bananas and fed them to the monkeys. While the monkeys were eating, George snatched the balloon and swung down from the cage and handed the balloon back to the boy. Everybody clapped and cheered. Just then, the man with the yellow hat came running. "George," the man cried, "I've been looking all over the place for you." "Please don't be angry with him," said the mother. "He saved my son's balloon." "George, you shouldn't have taken my pail," said the keeper. "But he did feed the monkeys. And now it's time for us to feed ourselves," said the man. And that's just what they did.